On today's wrestling news, Sasha Banks has some big news.
Becky Lynch makes her acting debut in Young Rock.
Got some big announcements for SmackDown next week.
And a huge world title four-way, some tournament brackets, and so much more has been revealed for AEW and Full Gear 2022.
Are you ready? Are you ready for the news time? Yes, my name is Phil Chambers and I'm joined by Gareth Morgan to talk all things wrestling. But before we get into it, make sure you like the video, comment down below what you think of each of today's stories, subscribe to the channel, and links to each story is in the description, so click the timestamps and off you go. But first up, Sasha Banks. It's been a long time since we've seen Sasha Banks in WWE. A long, sad time, but she's been popping up in her Instagram stories with a little video with quite a big tease. So I'm just going to read out the sort of key points from the video. So she said that the day is coming that I've been waiting for the past 6 months, and I can't wait. I'm really going to make the most of this November to make all my dreams happen in preparation for this date that I've been waiting for. I'm very excited and I hope you guys come along for the journey, which I know a lot of you have been with me for so long, so thank you. But I just wanted to let you know that there's going to be something so flipping crazy coming. And she did not say flipping.
How dare she?
So, how dare she indeed. So what happened? What's been going on for the past 6 months? Well, it was about 6 months ago that she left WWE in the first place. Last time she wrestled was in May. She walked out with Naomi before the May 16th episode of Monday Night Raw. So that is almost exactly 6 months since that happened. But what else is happening roughly 6 months from that date? Well, Survivor Series just so happens to be in Boston, which just so happens to be Sasha Banks' hometown. And that could be quite the interesting little tie-in. It definitely feels like this is a wrestling thing. The 6 months tie-in, it's kind of gotta be, surely. You'd like to think so. If it's not, I mean, she's had her fingers in a lot of other pies since she's been going. She's been very, very busy. But hopefully this is the big wrestling comeback that we've been waiting for, because I, for one, have very much missed Sasha Banks on my wrestling TV. She is absolutely incredible, and I cannot wait for her to come back.
Now, listen, I hope this take ages terribly. Personally, I really do.
You hate Sasha Banks.
Hater. No, I love Sasha Banks. And me and you, we were there on the ground floor, like throughout the Bailey Sasha Banks. What is happening? Look, I don't want to kill this dog. No, joking. Okay. Look, I don't want to like give off a take that's going to age incredibly badly, but it probably will. It probably will.
Yeah.
I love Sasha Banks. We were there. We were ground flooring throughout the Bailey Sasha stuff throughout the pandemic. She was just incredible. I want that Sasha Banks back as soon as possible. Yes, but like you said, she's doing a lot. And I think I read recently she wants to get involved with music and more music video directing, kind of that side of life, which is on top of the acting stuff, which is absolutely smashed. She's been on a lot of red carpets recently, I've noticed. Yeah. She's been on the Black Panther one, she's been on the Marvel She-Hulk one.
Doing a lot of modelling stuff as well.
Modelling as well. I think it was on New York Catwalk or something, fashion show thing. Yeah. But I think, for me personally, I know the Disney Star Wars stuff, it's all like under the same banner as Marvel. Is maybe she's going to pop up in a Marvel thing at some point? Because she's been on a lot of Marvel red carpets. That's just something I'm flagging up. That could have been something she was in the process of doing before she walked out. This is all just theoretical, by the way. Like, that could have provoked her into going, you know what, I don't need this. I'm going to walk out with Naomi and I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And that could have been something that's been in the process of just going to get announced. Maybe, I don't know, the Agatha Harkness show that's going to pop out and all that. I'm not going to go into a Marvel super nerd for you now, Phil, but there's a lot of things she could pop up in the MCU. I think I've just booked myself here into the Sasha Banks being the new star of the MCU going forward. But if that happens, but if that doesn't happen, it just pops up at Survivor Series in Boston, I'd be happy with that as well. I think the bottom line here is just whatever Sasha Banks wants to do and whatever this news is, it's going to be incredible. Maybe she's going to go to Japan and do that and fight Kairi. Oh, that'd be incredible.
Maybe. That would be good. The one thing that keeps dragging me back with Sasha Banks is just how much she bloody loves wrestling.
Yeah.
She has to come back. And she's also too good to not come back.
She is. But another person who could be spreading their wings in the not too distant future, they could go off into a new avenue, which they seem to have already excelled at pretty well. They've done pretty well. Is Becky Lynch, because she has just made her debut in the Young Rock NBC series, obviously inspired by the great one himself. And she was credited as Rebecca Quinn, and she played none other than Cyndi Bloody Lauper. I nearly said Launder. That's not a name. Cyndi Lauper. And she was brilliant, to be honest. Like, she had a thick New York accent, which is very jarring as soon as you hear it, because you're like, well, that's not Becky Lynch's voice.
It does not fit, like the sound and the image thing does not go well.
It's quite nasally as well. She was like, hello, Rocky, and it was great. It was really good. And The Rock,
I mean,
absolutely.
that was a bad impression of her doing it. But
no, it was a great impression, that Phil. Professionally trained.
Call yourself an actor.
No, I don't. I'm pretending to be. It was, The Rock loved it, and he was like, oh, great, awesome acting debut. It took him back to the unforgettable moment where he met Cyndi Lauper at the WrestleMania 1 party that she threw, that Hulk Hogan, Mr. T, all these people. Brian Gerrits also had, obviously he's a former WWE writer, he's an executive producer on the show as well. He had a really nice tidbit, like a behind the scenes thing when it comes to Becky Lynch, because he said that she auditioned for the role and knew it was going to be really tough, obviously getting into the accent, playing such an iconic real life figure, but she did all this and she played the role whilst recovering from the separated shoulder. Like, she was doing all this with that dodgy shoulder, which is incredible, really, because that must have been agonizing, painful, and there was no signs of it in any of the clips, so it's pretty damn cool. And Lynch also said that she brought in Courtney Young, who was a dialect coach, and she really just tipped the cap to her for helping her scrape away the brogue and bring Cindy's very distinct voice to life. So I think she smashed this. I thought she was incredible. Maybe this could be the start of something, like where she goes off into Hollywood and becomes a big acting superstar like John Cena and The Rock and Batista, all these people. So I don't know. It's great stuff for Rebecca Quinn, Becky Lynch, whatever you want to call her in this scenario. It's good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just more strings to her bow in general, and just shows how just talented she is as a person. Obviously, she's had a long and storied career of doing lots of very random things, and this is just another layer on top of all of that, and it's absolutely great for her, and she looks absolutely amazing in it. So good for you. Well done, Becky Lynch. But moving over to SmackDown, why the hell not? Big announcements for next week. So, first of all, they're going to do Shinsuke Nakamura versus Santos Escobar, because he did the whole thing where they teamed with Hit Row unexplicably and beat them. So they're going to, Santos Escobar is going to be coming for some revenge for Legado del Fantasma, I assume, and then probably lose again, because I mean, that just seems to be what they're doing at the minute. But we're also getting the New Day versus the Usos. Well, probably the Usos, let's face it. It's going to be versus whoever wins between the Usos and the Brawling Brutes at Crown Jewel tonight. But that's going to be the Usos, let's face it. And whoever wins that match will then become, well, will be the longest reigning tag champs in WWE history, because currently it's the New Day and the Usos are set to break that title reign. So there's a lot on the line for the Usos in that match. And let's face it, whenever the New Day and the Usos get in the ring, it's always absolutely bloody brilliant. They've done it hundreds of times, and somehow every single time it's still really, really good.
And somehow the stakes have just been raised again, which is odd. So good.
Who knew you could get there? But finally, there is the announcement of the SmackDown World Cup. Because the World Cups are coming back to WWE. Yay! Yeah. Obviously, Fox have the FIFA World Cup, which is going on because football and people like it, I guess. So that's the obvious tie-in, but there's no real announcements about what the actual SmackDown World Cup is going to be or who's going to be in it or anything. It's just going to start next week, so we shall see. But obviously it's not the first WWE World Cup, because there was that incredible tournament, the pinnacle of wrestling in 2018, that the greatest wrestler in the world won, Shane McMahon, obviously.
He's coming back.
He's coming back, and it's not the first Wrestling World Cup. That wasn't the first Wrestling World Cup, because obviously the WCPW World Cup was the first true Wrestling World Cup, which was better than all of the WWE ones.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, and you can watch it all for free on this very channel. Just search for WCPW World Cup, and it's all there, and it's the best.
So we don't really need to plug the WWE one, because it's just never going to come
plugging ours
close.
from years ago. Imitation's the sincerest form of flattery, after all. So
exactly.
Thanks, WWE, for the massive compliment.
And was Rey Mysterio in yours as well?
Mysterio was in ours as well, yeah.
So he's probably going to be in the WWE one, so there's going to be an obvious tie-in. They're probably going to say it on... Will Ospreay, but they're probably going to say it on the announce desk.
Galloway was in ours as well, I think.
Yeah, Drew. But can you remember recently...
Cody as well, and... who else was in it? Lots of people. Keith Lee. I mean, we've just made so many stars. It's just too many. Ricochet. It was the catapult, the catalyst for their careers now, really. If it wasn't for that World Cup, they wouldn't. Yeah, we started all of them. I mean, they would be nowhere if it wasn't for us.
I think you're gonna get name dropped on commentary by Michael Cole, just like he did with like New Japan and Ring of Honor recently. Be like, oh yeah, it's the World Cup. And this isn't the first one. It's gonna happen, and if it doesn't happen, I'm gonna turn the telly off. So, next thing we're gonna talk about. Obviously, you got that World Cup, which is a big tournament. Another tournament, which is AEW's tournament. We had that weird tournament spell, didn't we, at the start of the year? Now they've all come back again. I think this is just it happens in cycles. So AEW have got the Eliminator tournament for the winner gets a shot at the AEW World Championship, and that's after Full Gear because the final is going to be at Full Gear. And we've got the brackets for that have finally been announced. We had I think what's his name, Dante Martin and Ethan Page were both announcing it. Now we've had the full completion. It was after a Ricky Starks promo where I think he said I'm going to be in it as well, and then they just revealed the whole thing because why not? We've got Eddie Kingston, Brian Cage, Roosh, Bandido, Lance Archer, Ricky Starks, Ethan Page, and Dante Martin. And the first of those matches is going to be Eddie Kingston versus Ethan Page, and that's going to be on Dynamite. And then on that Dynamite as well, you're going to have Bryan Danielson versus Sammy Guevara in a 2 out of 3 falls match. It's going to be great. Britt Baker and Saraya meet face to face. That was a lie. It didn't happen last week. It's probably not going to happen this week either. I'm not going to be fooled again. Jamie Hayter versus Sky Blue as well. So there's probably going to be more stuff announced for Dynamite throughout the week, but that's already looking pretty damn cool. And the big news coming out of Rampage last night, on top of all of this, was we're going to have a huge 4-way World Championship match. Not going to be for the AEW World Championship. It's going to be the Ring of Honor World Championship. And the match is looking stacked because you're going to have Jericho, obviously, defending. And there was a bit of, a bit of friction, backstage between Bryan Danielson and Claudio Castagnoli. They both wanted a shot at Jericho because they both got pretty good reasons to do so, I guess. I think Danielson and Jericho have gone 1-1, and maybe I don't know if they've had the full best of 3. I think they did, but they've just been bickering, they've been fighting. Claudio's not technically had his rematch yet against Jericho after losing the belt, and they were both like, I want it, and then Jericho said, well, a lesser man would say no, but I'm gonna have both of them in a match, but just before they scrap and kill each other, just as an insurance policy to me, I'm going to bring Sammy Guevara in as well, so it's going to be a fatal 4-way. So he thinks that the Blackpool Combat Club dudes are going to kill each other, and then is Sammy just going to lay down for him? Is that what he thinks? Yeah, and he seemed a bit odd in the backstage interview. I think he said something like, "Oh, thanks, little Sammy," or "Thanks, little guy." So something really patronising. You saw Sammy's face kind of go, "You are, mate." So I don't know. Are we going to get a big swerve in? Is Sammy going to walk out with the Ring of Honor World Championship at Full Gear? I'm intrigued. I didn't know I could get more intrigued with this Jericho Association, Appreciation Association Society and Blackpool Combat Club thing, but I am. Look at me now.
Indeed. I just absolutely cannot wait for Claudio Castagnoli to run around that ring at 1,000 miles an hour, giving uppercuts to all 3 of them, just as many times as humanly possible in some crazy shine spot. It's going to be absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
And just seeing Danielson and Claudio just kick each other's heads in.
Yeah.
That's all they're going to do, isn't it? A completely unchained version of Danielson and Claudio Castagnoli from the time in WWE to now just doing whatever the hell they want in a ring, pretty much. It's going to be really, really good.
It's probably worth noting there's a chance to be dishonourable in the match because it's a 4-way, so there's definitely going to be no DQ, so I think there'll be some shenanigans.
But we'll have to wait and see. But on that note, let's move over to your Twitter questions. So, the first one, we've got a lot about the Bloodline and Sami Zayn.
Obviously.
It's just all that people are talking about at the minute. And fair play. So the first one comes from Andrew Richardson, who says, "Good morning, both. Hope you have a great Saturday. Would you rather see Sami Zayn win the tag titles with Kevin Owens or the Undisputed Championship from Roman?"
Oh, one of those is definitely not going to happen, sadly.
Yeah.
And I think it'll just be a nice use of Sami Zayn and Kevin to win the tag belts. I think it just puts them in a nice play. I know a lot of people were going, oh, Kevin Owens is going to be the prize fighter. He's going to finally take WWE by storm. There's time for that. He's signed a new contract. There's plenty of time for that. We don't know what the future is going to hold. In the immediate future, it's a great use. It's a great payoff for this, whatever the hell's been going on with this great storyline. I think it's cool. I think it'd be a nice way to reintroduce Kevin if the Bloodline all turn on Sami and he just pops up on SmackDown, fights everyone off. That'd be really cool. So, yeah, I prefer the tag title one, to be honest.
I used to think the tag title one used to be the main way out of this, but Sami's just too good now, man. Yeah. He's built himself into a way too good a spot in the Bloodline. They're obviously already extending this storyline longer than they ever thought they were going to, because it is so goddamn entertaining. I need Sami to win. It just needs to happen. I know it's incredibly unlikely, but bringing Sami back to that ultimate underdog babyface to beat the ultimate overdog in Roman Reigns. It'd just be incredible.
Do you know what scuppers this whole thing for me though? It's the Saudi elephant in the room. Because it's with Sami and Kevin, they both don't go. So it's one of those things where if either of them wins the title, it's not going to be for very long, or they're going to keep the world champion off the show where the people in Saudi want to see the world champion. It shouldn't be that way, obviously, but that's the only thing that kind of hits me there as a stumbling block. In a perfect world, they'd be there, or they wouldn't be there, and they'd just be able to have the world champions, whoever the hell they want to be. But right now, at this current moment, this current climate, it's probably not going to happen, is it?
Well, this kind of ties into the second question, because there is other elements into play in this as well. So this question comes from Jen Wilson, who says, "Good morning, guys. With the overwhelming popularity of Sami and the Bloodline, how do you think it will affect Cody's story when he returns?"
Another big.
That was definitely the plan that everybody wanted not that long ago. Cody to win the Royal Rumble and beat Roman at Mania. So it's quite a big spanner in the works.
It really does. It's a good spanner. It's definitely one of those nice problems. I still think those titles need to be split up at some point. I don't know how, I don't know when. I feel like maybe before WrestleMania, or either Roman loses them. Because if Roman Rock does happen, I know it's a big if, huge if at this point, but if that does happen, it doesn't need the titles. So does Roman lose them at the Royal Rumble? Does he lose them to Logan Paul? I don't know.
Don't even say
You're
that.
Laughing. We've seen weirder things in Saudi, all right? But I don't know. If that does happen, then Cody, I think, winning the Royal Rumble, Seth Rollins somehow getting the championships, and then having that match at WrestleMania would be huge for me. For the purest wrestling fan, that'd be huge. That'd be my perfect Cody usage at WrestleMania, personally. Whether that happens or not now with the Sami stuff, you can't just shuffle Sami down that mid card. I'm not having it.
Yeah.
So
No,
I don't know. It's just who'd be a booker, eh?
Personally, I think the Rumble the Rumble winner at least is a good chance to, or WrestleMania being over 2 nights is a good chance to break up these belts.
Definitely.
So you have Cody win the Royal Rumble, you still do that plan, and then on night 1 you have Cody versus Roman. I realise I'm completely writing The Rock versus Roman Reigns out of history here in Hollywood as well at WrestleMania. But I'm okay with it, to be honest, because Cody wins the Rumble, beats, he goes up against Roman Reigns for one of those belts, and then the next night, Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns for the other one of those belts. Ooh. Roman loses them both in some kind of crazy,
that'd be epic,
massive loss at WrestleMania or something.
And then The Rock comes out at the end and stares him down, and they do a year-long build to WrestleMania 4.
Maybe Sami wins the first one, because I think that's a better moment of Sami beating Roman and the shock of it, and then Cody wins it the next night because Roman's just beside himself with shock from the night before, and it drives him to lose the second night. That's how I'd go.
That's what I want to see now, Phil.
Yeah, I just want Sami versus Roman and some massive main event, and Sami to turn it up a notch and bring back that insane wrestling ability that we've not seen in quite a long time, because he's been holding a lot back as Sami Zayn.
Maybe El Generico will come back out of retirement, or the Abyss, wherever he is. I know, I've not seen him for a bit, so that could be cool.
Let us know down in the comments how you want this Sami Bloodline stuff to go, how you'd put Cody in there. Do you still want The Rock versus Roman? So many questions. But the final question of the day comes from Cody Bruyette, who says, "Who is the oosiest member of WhatCulture?"
You're looking at him. I don't know. Right. I read something. I don't know how accurate it is, but I think the word "oosie" means something a lot more provocative than what we think it does. And I think that's why everyone burst out laughing on SmackDown the other week. I don't want to fully go into what it is, but just pop on the internet and type in what "oosie" means in Samoan culture. And I don't know if this is accurate. I don't know if it was just a Twitter thing that I saw and somebody was just having a laugh. But if it is that, I don't want to be Usi.
I'm just Googling it now.
You just Google away, all right? This is a little tidbit now. It's a little extra on the India News video.
But just in case, I'm just going to go with Wilborn, because I think he pretty much fits anything. And I'm going to go, Wilborn is the Usiest member of WhatCulture.
Yeah, if in doubt. He's, I think he'd love that as well. He's very Usi. Usilicious.
But let us know who you think is the usiest member of WhatCulture down in the comments below. And you can follow us over on Twitter. You can follow me at PhilMyChambers, and you can follow Gareth
at GMorgan04.
And you can follow all of us at WhatCulture WWE. Like I say, please do subscribe to the channel. Watch all the videos in the world because YouTube really likes that. Ups and Downs for SmackDown and Rampage is coming later on today. We've got a live stream for Crown Jewel later on tonight. Me and Adam Wilborn, the UCS member of WhatCulture, will be live at about 3 p.m. British time, so 11 in the morning in your American East Coast time.
So early.
So early for them. It must be so hard. So come watch that with us, and most importantly, have yourselves a bloody good day.
Bye-bye.